Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. My name is Laura Grimm, and I will be your worship associate for today. We are a diverse congregation that welcomes you as you are, regardless of age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or physical ability. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. We are an active community that lives its values well beyond the hours of Sunday service, so I would like to call your attention to the following. The Social Action Committee is excited to resume collecting selected items for people-to-people ministries. We've put a large basket outside the lobby in the hallway for donations, so just right as you start going down the hallway. For March, we are focusing on the following paper and cleaning products: toilet paper, dish soap, and laundry detergent. Thank you for helping us help others. After the service today, please visit the stewardship table in the lobby to submit your pledge and get a sweet treat. Stewardship will staff this table every Sunday through the end of March, so this Sunday and next Sunday. The Edge group will meet this Wednesday, March 27th at 5:30 in Strawn Hall. This is Strawn Hall, for those that don't know that. This is not a closed group, and all are welcome. If you'd like to find out more information about our activities, please feel free to ask Bonnie. I don't see Bonnie in the hall, or any of the membership. There's Bonnie. She's waving through the door there. Or anyone from the membership committee. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome, friends. I am the Reverend Walter Clark. I am the minister here of this congregation. I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody, including those people who are watching us online today. Can we all give a wave to all of our people who are watching online? Because I fully understand to need to worship in your pajamas with a cup of coffee. So, I want to take this opportunity. Can I have anybody who is a greeter at any point in time raise your hand? All right. Look at these people, folks. These are some wonderful volunteers in our congregation who do wonderful things. They are always deserving of applause. So if you see them roaming the halls, just start applauding. But for those of you, yes, exactly, Scott, you've got the right idea. For those of you who may be new and are still wondering about us, those people who are greeters, these are the excellent people to go to if you have any questions about our congregation, our faith. They are extremely smart and well-versed to know everything about Unitarian Universalism, especially when to tell you, I don't know, go to Reverend Walter, maybe he can help. I am also someone who'd be glad to talk to you. I am so glad to see you here on this beautiful, frosty Sunday morning, waiting for the sun and spring to finally warm us up. Thank you for worshiping with us today. Jenny?
Good morning. My name is Jenni Papp. I'm the Director of Religious Education in this congregation. My pronouns are she, her, or they, and them. As we get ready to leave the busyness of our morning and the business, maybe, of your morning, kind of set those things aside and get ready to move into our time of worship. This morning, as we do about once a month, we shake things up. And we're having an exploratory worship service today. I'm going to encourage you at some point during the service to move towards the tables, because we will need you to be there to participate in part of our worship service, so I appreciate that. The theme this month has been transformation in our worship services and in our religious exploration groups. And we have looked at transformation from the idea of the changes in a person and a long life lived. We have looked at it from a nature perspective of decomposition and the weather and the critters that help us do that to create, transform something that has fallen, something that is dead, create a nourishing foundation for then. We've looked at seeds, and then they have that nourishing foundation for those seeds to become through and transformed into a living being again. And this morning, we are looking at transformation again, and we are looking at transformation of our hearts and our minds, and what we can do in our thought processes to encourage our resilience, to take those things that maybe didn't go quite the way we wished they had, and move forward with the lessons, the learnings that we can take from that, so that they're not always a positive outcome. It's not always that we rely on a positive outcome to have our best lessons. We need this resilience. There's a world that needs our resilience, and we need a resilient community. So we'll be looking at some of that today. I invite you to turn your electronic devices into worship mode or silent, and let's worship together. And we have our lovely quartet here today. Oh, wait.
Speaking of resilience.
I forgot.
Speaking of resilience.
Stewardship. Speaking of resilience. And I love your tie, by the way. That is very nice.
I'm going to be talking about this today.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Good morning. I'm Tim Briner, and I'm here to represent the Stewardship Committee and ask, what if? Does that ring a bell? Back on February 11th, I did this entire speech and I talked in detail about stewardship. I'm going to spare you the details today. Okay? I'm going to be about 3 minutes. What I'm here to do is remind you, and these strings are going to help you remember to pledge if you haven't. At the beginning of the pledge drive, we asked, what if we pledged more than we needed to meet our budget? With this in mind, Finance and the board set an aspirational goal so that we could dream big. Over the past few Sundays, you may recall, you've heard from people who shared their vision about what their committee or group could achieve if they had more funding. Let's see where we are. First, the good news. We've received $238,480 in pledges from 88 pledgers. 9 of these, thank you. 9 of these were first-time pledges, and 56% of those pledging increased their pledge. Thank you for your generosity. We appreciate your support. Now for the what if everybody pledged. What if there are people out there who want to pledge but keep forgetting to do so? That's why I'm here today. I'm going to help you to remember. You can tie one of these strings around your finger. I'm going to have them out here in the lobby, and you can take one of these, tie it. Thank you. Tie it around your finger, and it'll help you remind you. And when you get home, you'll say, why is this on my finger? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, see me after the service in the lobby. If you haven't pledged, please do so. We on the Stewardship Committee are committed to asking for the support of our entire fellowship. We don't enjoy issuing reminders, but we do it anyway. We feel it's important to reach out to everyone to offer the opportunity to support our shared community. Thank you again for your attention, your support, and your commitment to the UUFWC. Would the membership committee members please stand if they're here? I'm sorry, would the members of the stewardship committee please stand? Well, there are two of us here. Oh, three, sorry. That's it. Thank you.
As we light our chalice, a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, consider these words from Barbara Hamilton Holloway. We light this chalice in celebration of our Unitarian Universalist affirmation of ongoing learning and new understanding. Each of us individually and all of us collectively have gifts and talents that we use in the service of life. Though we all know setbacks and failures, strength, power, and possibilities always lie before us. We light this chalice for the spirit of life continuing to move through our lives.
Hi. I don't have a flame. I'm normally really good about making sure that the tea light is lit or there's matches in here. Gail has a lighter. Gail, could you light our chalice for us?
I would love to.
I would love for you to. All right, yeah, go do the whole thing. Thank you.
Practiced all week.
Thank you, Gail.
Yes, go ahead.
Now, let us rise and body our spirit as we sing our opening hymn. The music can be found in the gray hymnal, number 331, Life is the Greatest Gift of All.
Life is the greatest gift of all, the riches of this earth. Life its creatures, great and small, of high and lowly birth. So treasure it and measure it with deeds of shining worth. Life is the bright Hawthorne, can I talk to you for a second? Did you notice what happened earlier with the chalice? Did you see what happened with the chalice? This big one right here. This big one. Do you see what happened when I tried to light it today? No? No? Did anybody see what happened when I tried to light it today? What happened? Okay. Maddie Noble knows. I'm getting my steps in today. What happened when I tried to light the chalice?
There were no matches or no lighter or whatever you might need to begin the process.
Be in the process, right. I totally biffed it. Did not have matches or a lighter or anything. Has anybody ever made like a really embarrassing, Hawthorne, have you ever been really embarrassed by a mistake you've made in public? Nope? I hope your streak continues for the next 60 years. I really do. Has anybody made a really bad mistake? Like, maybe the career that you've trained for your whole life, you blew one of the simplest aspects of it? Anybody here made a mistake? Oh, come on, people. I know that some of yous are perfect, but not all of y'all. Ruthie thought she made a mistake once, and she was wrong. I do not doubt that for 1 second, Ruthie. How many of you, when you make mistakes, are just absolutely mortified, right? Yeah. All of us, right? You're really good at them? So let me ask you a question. If you're really good at mistakes.
I'm really good at mistakes.
What's so great about them?
You learn from them. And everybody makes mistakes. So
What? No, I saw people here who did not raise their hand when I said people make mistakes. So obviously not everybody makes them.
I'm making up for all of them.
Aw, you're so sweet. Many of you know that I used to be involved in an improvisational theater troupe. Yeah, big surprise. One of the things they told us is failure isn't just an option, it's mandatory. You have to make a mistake because in improv, do you know what happens if you're careful? You have the most boring stuff possible. You don't get funny. And so, Jenny?
What is improv?
What is improv? Oh, gosh. Improv is, Tim, do you want to? Tim, what is improv?
Improv is theater where there's no script and there's a group of people that are comfortable with each other and they know that they're going to say outrageous things and funny things and they do it.
Right.
And sometimes they make a mistake and it could be funny
It could be funny.
or it could be disastrous.
So, do you want to see an example? Sharon, can you give me a tune that I can try and sing with? And does somebody here want to give me a suggestion of, let's say, a non-geographical location? Let's go with that. Or occupation. Let's go with an occupation. Give me an occupation. Nursing. We got nursing first. All right, Sharon, you got a tune for me for nursing? For nursing? No, you got a tune for me. I'll take care of the nursing. This bedpan of mine, I'm gonna make it shine. This bedpan of mine, I'm gonna make it shine. You need to use it all the time, and it's mine. Make it shine. Improv. Not very fun, not always the most humorous, but kind of last minute, have a little fun with it. And you have to be willing to do stupid things. And that's what mistakes are. Oh, we are really going with it. Let's not get too deep. All right, and we are running. You could, but then people online couldn't hear you.
You never say no.
You never say no. Yes and, always with improv. And we'll talk a little bit about yes and and improv and always going in with that spirit. But that is part of what we're talking about today, is being willing to make mistakes in order to grow. Never a failure, always a lesson. So, are you ready to get a little silly and wild with me today? Yes! Yes, says Hawthorne. Hawthorne, you are the biggest yes and improv master. Can I please get a high five for my man over here? Yes. Hot dog. All right, where are we going next off of this? No, that's where we are. We're doing a spoken blessing, a moment of silence. All right, so get ready.
All improv.
This is all improv today. This was my brainchild, so please, all comment cards, come right to me. If you'd like to discuss how much you really think I should not have done this, I'll be glad to take that in, because never a failure, always a lesson. One of the biggest things we did in improv is when we made a mistake. Do you know what we did? No, we said, I failed, yay! Can we practice that? I failed, yay! All right, because you're going to have opportunities to fail today. So I want to hear lots of people saying, I failed. Yay! Awesome. All right. Let's have a fun prayer. Let's have a fun blessing. Let us think of the times and our moments when we laugh at ourselves. Let us think of the times in our life where we humble ourselves and appreciate our most basic nature. Let's think of the times when we fail and then forgive. Think of the times in your life where maybe something didn't go as planned. Maybe you said something you shouldn't have. Maybe you accidentally hurt someone. When have you failed to come into your best self? And when have you given yourself grace to try again? When have you said to yourself, my failure, my mistakes make me better? When have you told yourself, I am so sorry I did this and so glad I learned this? What is the lesson of grace that you have found in this life by being messy? Take a moment to think of the times you've done wrong. Take a time to think of the times you've been wronged. Have those times made you a better person? Have those times taught you how to be better in this world? Is this world better for you learning, for you loving, for that grace? We are all messy, imperfect, and yes, failures. And yay, you failed. Yay, you tried. Yay, you learned. And you are better for it. And the world is more beautiful for it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your failures. Each week, we come into this community with different things in our heart. Some things weigh heavily upon us. Maybe it's a mistake we made. Maybe it's the loss of a loved one. Maybe it's just the situation we in seems so beyond our control. If there is a sorrow on your heart, I encourage you to come up, put that sorrow on a stone, and leave it behind. And if there is a joy that lifts your heart, something that makes your steps lighter, I encourage you to also come up and put that joy on this stone and let its ripples reach out through this community. Chris Struzik, who's a member of our pastoral care team, is here. Can I have other members of pastoral care raise their hands? These are people who are willing to talk with you if there's something on your mind. And if you would like to meet with them sometime this week or in the future, please let one of them know. And if you would like to meet with me this week, please just come, take my hands, and let me know, and we'll set up a time after service. Please join me in our Joys and Sorrows stone ritual as we sing Spirit of Life.
Our faith is centered on the belief that we can make this world a better place for all who dwell in it. In order to realize that vision, we need both the motivation and the means. Your donation helps the community put its faith into action by supporting our programming and our facilities. This morning and throughout the month of March, donations that are not designated for another purpose will be split with the Viola Startzman Free Clinic. The Viola Startzman Clinic is committed to providing compassionate medical, dental, behavioral, and specialty care, as well as resources for daily living like food, transportation, housing assistance, and more. Please join me in this unison reading as we dedicate the offering. The words are on the screen. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others.
The time has come for you to gravitate towards a space that has a bag. You need 4 or 5 people with each bag, if you would please. We're going to do something called 5 easy pieces. Four or 5 at each bag, yeah. If you see a group that only has 3, maybe move towards that one. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Down here, we need a 4th one right there. 4, 5. That's 5. In the middle here, if you've got 5, we could use another one over here in the middle, so you don't have enough. Thank you, Adam. If you only have 3, raise your hand. If you only have 3, you have to have 4 or 5. 6 is too many, because it's not 4 or 5. I know we like to be independent, but it'll work way better if we have 4 or 5. All right, thank you. Just a small piece of conformity today. Okay. So before we open our bags, let me just tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. So in your bags are sets of shapes that are paper clipped together. And in each bag there are 5 sets, okay? Each person will take a set. If you only have 4 people, put that 5th one in the middle. And what I need you to do is to take your set and make a square out of your set with those cut up pieces. Okay? So the goal would be that we would like everyone to be able, every group needs to have everybody has to have a square. Actually, all 5 of them need to be squares. Okay? And when that happens, let me know. I forgot a rule. No talking. If you find you need to do something, need a different shape, you can put a shape into the middle, but only one at a time. No talking. The pieces may not overlap. No talking. Exchange one piece at a time. You need 5 squares with 3 pieces each. I think
Who has not put together all of their squares? Okay, okay, all right. We got about half and half. So, who wants to, can I get it from a group who got all of their squares? How long did it take you? Let's get, all right, yeah, sure. What did you notice about the process here?
Everybody in the group did a lot better than I did putting these together. That's what I noticed.
Did you notice that your own pieces, could you make a square with your own pieces?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
How many of you could make a square just with the
I
3
needed-
pieces that were put together?
I needed a piece from Barb.
Right? How many of you had to go to somebody else's group to get pieces? Right, well, amongst people in your group, how many of you had to go to somebody in your group, within your group, say, oh my God, my 3 pieces don't make a square? How many of you really tried to make a square with those 3 pieces first? What did we learn about this process? What were some things? Hold on. Make sure the microphone comes to you.
I had to ask for help.
Ooh, how did that feel?
I wasn't allowed to talk, so I did sign language.
I was about to say, you can't say you did sign
She
language.
did it after she helped me.
What was that? Cheryl, what was that?
He didn't hear you.
He didn't hear.
I didn't hear.
I said, she had difficulty because she had to help me.
Oh, well, but there's a lesson right there, isn't there? Isn't there a lesson that sometimes when people make mistakes together, being able to lean in on each other makes the process a little bit easier? What else did we learn? What else did we think about this process? Can we get down here for Faith?
Each of us had 2 pieces that worked and 1 that we needed from the group.
Okay. Each of them had 2 pieces that worked and 1 that they needed from the group. I'm sure Jenny made sure that's exactly what happened in all of this. But that also tells you something, right? Sometimes we can't always do this all by ourselves. Sometimes we need to go through the process and ask somebody else for help with that. What are some other things we felt while we were doing this process? Yeah! Nobody said that. That's because you all are just bright successes. All right, hold on. So let's go on that. You didn't, so say that again.
So we didn't do yay, I failed because we never stopped. There was lots of little failures, if you want to call it that, because we hadn't succeeded yet, but we didn't stop.
Yeah, we were moving towards succeeding with making the squares and not thinking about the fact that we hadn't done it. We were just working toward accomplishing the task.
And we weren't done until all 5 of us were done. It was like, because we had 3 people, I was still going and 3 people were done, but it wasn't like everyone's like, well, we're done. We waited for the whole group to be done.
Connie, over here. Maybe I should get a microphone. We can double, I'll stay on this side.
I had flashbacks to geometry class and realized that, yeah, I guess I am going to use this in real life.
Finally. Kevin.
There's no failure or mistakes. It's just learning curves.
Well, yeah, there's learning curves, and I want to kind of focus a little bit about what was going on over here. It was all about process, right? There was no stopping until success. It was not like, oh my gosh, my pieces don't fit, so I'm done, right? There was always the process of always keeping going. And one of the things about if we're making mistakes is we can't let it stop us from continuing to move and to grow, right? So I think, all right, so this is part of our sermon right here, this group. You're excused, you can go. No. Other thoughts that we had while we were doing this process. How was this for folks?
You can try and try and try, but there is some point when you have to say it's not working and change direction.
There is a point where we have to say it's not working and change direction. So, Susan, was part of that process for you here the idea that we need to go to other pieces?
Oh,
Yes, yes. Right? So sometimes there's being able to say, oh, well, this isn't working, try something new. Joe?
I was really happy for the 4th grader in our midst because there were a couple that my brain just could not comprehend how the pieces fit together, and apparently they've been doing some of that in math class, making squares and triangles out of shapes, and so he was like, I know how these work, and got them right away.
Oh yeah, kids are smarter than us. Let's all just acknowledge that now. Ha ha, indeed.
Did you guys ever get it done?
Sometimes you have to look on the floor for the missing piece.
That's true. Sometimes you have to look on the floor for the miss. This group, I came over and I saw that there was like, they were just stuck. Totally stuck. And part of the idea with this game is you have to go outside the box. And they literally had a piece that had fell on the floor that they had totally missed. And I'm so glad it was bright yellow because I was like, oh, well, I know why you can't solve this puzzle. You literally don't have all the pieces. So sometimes you have to really look. Laura?
There's also the understanding of norms. Like, okay, we have to make 5, there's like ground rules. We have to make 5 squares. What is a square? We had some Picasso squares going on in here, which is fine. And you really learn about the people in our group because, what is your name? Benjamin is still trying to make the squares. And I love it. I mean, it really tells me something about him that, dang it, he's not going to leave this building till those squares are made.
Well, and I also love how some people are like, I'm making a smaller square, and that's my square, and that's good enough. Yeah. But that could also make it harder for other people to solve the problem. So sometimes it's trying to figure out what works for everybody. Other thoughts about this activity? Gail?
For those of us who sat out this activity and watched all you guys struggle, if you don't try, you can't fail, but you also can't succeed.
Amen. Amen, Gail. Thank you. Right? This is one of the biggest things about failure. If you don't take big risks, you don't get a reward. And so sometimes you have to figure out what risks are worth taking. Most of you realize to sit with somebody you may not know and put puzzles together was a risk worth taking. And some of you are like, no, I just need some quiet this morning and need to sit. And that's fine. Other thoughts about this process? Oh, if anybody knows about me making mistakes, it's this woman.
Sometimes for some people, they immediately grasped that they needed help and took other pieces. It took some other people a little longer, but we all ended up in this same spot of 5 squares together.
I can't imagine who in that group had trouble asking for help.
I think it's easier to know that you fail as a group and not as an individual.
Ooh. There's something to be said for that, trying things as a group, especially us as a congregation. Because sometimes we're going to be trying new things as a congregation, and they are going to fail. And sometimes we're going to try new and exciting things, and they are going to succeed. I'm going to lift up an example of trying something new that was a wonderful success. How many of you have been a part of the Edge group? That's within the last year. Do y'all enjoy it? Who are a part of it? Yeah. Brand new idea, trying to get some new stuff together. Great success, but it took some people some initiative to actually try it and get it done to make it work. So sometimes as a group, we have to try new things and see if they fail.
And we all come to that in that group with a different set of skills and life experiences. And I talked a little bit earlier about resilience, right? So when we're doing work in this community, the ability for the community to be resilient doesn't mean every person is right there all the time, ready to go. That sometimes we step up, sometimes we step back, and we take our turns at that. That, I think, is something we can learn. We've seen, we talked right here, someone helping and not wanting help just yet, or not ready to accept help just yet, or something like that. So,
how many of you had fun? One of the things I want to talk about with this also is the spirit of play. Do you have something to say, Benjamin?
I got it.
Or, yeah. I got it.
You finally got it.
He persevered.
Part of the idea of fun with this is, yes, it's kind of like a game, right? You're putting pieces together. So many of us have played games on our phone that are similar to this. But the other thing about it is the process. Yes, we had a very serious, focused goal. You must have 5 squares. But how many of you are going to talk more about how you put it together than the fact that you put it together? How we do things, how we are with each other, how forgiving and graceful we are as we make our mistakes with each other. That's the process that's important. That's the spirit of play. That's why the kids get it quicker, because it's about the process. They're not so much concerned about the outcome. They're having a good time. And they do want to rub it in the fact that I got it done first. My mom is slow. But it's about the process. That's one of the things we always have to remember here in community. What is important is not what we get done. It is how we are together. Relationships first. Process first. Love first. Yeah, I think that's it. Any closing thoughts on this before we go to our closing hymn? I've got the mic ready. All right. Thank you so much for participating in our 5 easy pieces. Let us rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing hymn, Let It Be a Dance. Feel free to dance if you are so moved. I always love the cha-cha-cha at the end of that. Before our benediction, can we please give a warm thanks to Jeff, John, Jim, and Mike for their guitar playing today. It is always a treat to have the 4 of you playing for us. I am a sucker for the acoustic guitar, and you 4 are fantastic. You absolutely make worship worshipful. Thank you. As we extinguish our chalice, never forget to take the spirit of play outside with you. Enjoy the process. Let the mistakes happen. Let them inform you as to who you are and to make you a better person. May you go out knowing that life is always about the process and about play. Make yourselves better. Make the world a better place. May it be so.